Hi, starting out with NuWave Oven recipes, and I'm in the mood for some sweet potato pie, and I've got a recipe on my soulfoodcookbook.com blog for a sweet potato pie that makes two pies. So that gave me an idea. What if I put together the two pies and cooked one in the NuWave oven while cooking the other in the conventional oven at the same time? See how long each takes, see how they turn out in the end. And so, let's get started. Okay, so there's a lot of ingredients for this cook. I have 3 eggs slightly beaten. I have 1 can of yams. This is a 40-ounce can of yams that was drained and well mashed together. I have 2 1/4 cups of evaporated milk. I've got 3/4 of a teaspoon of, actually it's a 1.5 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. That's 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. There's 3/4 a teaspoon of salt. There's also 3/4 a teaspoon of ginger, and I will say for ginger, this is one of the more expensive of spices, so basically it costs like almost $5 for this little container of it. It's pretty pricey stuff. And turn the camera a little here. I've got a 1/2 teaspoon of ground cloves. I also have 1 cup of sugar, and I've got a stick of butter that is already well melted. So now we'll get into the actual preparation of these pies. I forgot to include, I've got in the fridge 2 pie crusts that I'll be using since I'll be making 2 sweet potato pies. So I'll bring you back for the actual preparation here. Okay, so our next step in the preparation here is to get everything mixed together very well. So I'm just going to start putting everything in this large bowl that I have, and then I'm going to start mixing it up all really well. So in go the eggs, and in go the mashed up yams. There, get all those in. And I'm just going to go through getting this all in and getting it all mixed up together. I've got my oven, conventional oven is heating up to, well, it's already heated up to 425 degrees, because with conventional oven, for the recipe, you start at 425. Now I'm pouring in my evaporated milk. I'm just going to kind of lightly mix that a little bit. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw my butter in at this point. Try and get all the fluidy stuff in. We've got our butter in. Get things kind of mixed up a little before I put anything else in there. I'm going to toss that sugar in. Try and move things around, fold it in some. Alright, next is going to be the cinnamon. Every new thing mixed in kind of gives its own texture to everything. Put in the salt. The salt is optional, by the way. So just remember, if you don't want to do the salt, you don't have to for this recipe. Gonna put in that ginger, ground ginger, which always smells very nice. And now go in those ground cloves. Get those kind of mixed around there. And just want to kind of get things generally together a little bit. Now I'm going to take and start mixing, and I'll just Mix, mix, mix till it's all mixed together. Alright, things are well mixed. So next I'm going to go get my pie crust and start pouring this sweet potato pie mixture into the pie crust. So I'll bring you back in just a moment. Okay, so I've got my pie crust, I've got my sweet potato pie mixture now. I have to pour the mixture into both pie crusts, and instead of, I guess, going through the trouble of trying to perfectly measure both, I just kind of eyeball it and pray for the best. Put some more over here. After I do this step, I'm going to cover the edges of the crust with foil, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'll start with the one in the conventional oven. That requires 425 degrees for 15 minutes when putting both pies in together. So I'm going to do 425 for 10 minutes on it, and then you reduce the temperature to 350 degrees, and you cook for 350 degrees. When you're doing 2 pies, you would do 55 minutes. So I'm going to try the 1 pie for like 45 minutes, and I'll just do those adjustments at the proper time off camera. For the NuWave oven, I'm just going to stick it in. I'm just going to set it for like an hour, and I'll have to just eyeball it to keep an eye on when it's done, and I'll let you know when that NuWave one is done. But the NuWave one's going to cook at 350 degrees, which is high power for the NuWave oven, and I'll just let that go on the 1-inch lower rack and just let it go without any changes at all to its temperature, because for the NuWave I'm pretty confident it'll be fine like that. So let me first get that foil on the edges, and basically if you use other methods, if you prefer to protect the edges of your pie with, whatever you want to do to protect the edges is fine. I will have a printable recipe link underneath the video in the description. That does provide another method you could use for protecting the pie crust as well. I just personally go with the foil. It's just so adjustable, so I just like to just use foil to do things. I will say, if you're cooking this pie in a NuWave oven, you do have to be careful with the foil, because it's going to fly around a bit if you don't secure it well on the edges of the pie, because the NuWave oven has that fan that goes. With the more conventional oven, things are going to kind of stay in place. Alright, into the conventional oven we go. We'll light it up a little bit. It actually caused a little of my pie mixture to spill a little bit on the bottom of the oven, but that'll probably just burn off in time a little, or have to clean it out later. Time to go and get the one for the NuWave. Okay, I've gone ahead and put the pie for the NuWave onto the 1-inch rack there. The one in the oven, remember, 425, 10 minutes. Then I'm going to drop it to 350, and I'll let it cook about 45 minutes, see if that's enough there. But for the NuWave, although I'm setting it for 1 hour, it's very likely, I'm just hit cook time 60, start, very likely going to cook way faster. I mean, I do expect the NuWave to finish this pie way faster than a conventional oven. I'm just giving it an hour to just give it a set amount of time to work with, and I'll just keep an eye on it. So, like I said, I'll adjust that tempo on the one in the conventional as needed. keep an eye on these things as needed. I'll bring you back once we have something that is closer to finish or testing if something's done. Okay, it's been 45 minutes for the NuWave Oven Pie, so I'm just going to hit pause. It's looking really brown in there, so I just want to do a test if things are done. Just stick in a fork, see if it comes out cleanly. You always you're like, really done? Are we sure? I think it may be. I mean, there's a little bit of residue. I'll give it another 5 so that it does a full 50 minutes. So I'm going to just start it up again, let it do 50 minutes total. The one in the oven, it's already finished, of course, that first 10 minutes at 425, and it's in the last 9 minutes of the 45 minutes after that. That one, it's looking a little brown on top. We'll see how that looks maybe after 45 minutes, but I'll bring you back. Alright, it's been 50 minutes now total. I'm definitely going to just stop it totally. I'm pretty confident that it's done. I'm going to just do one more test. That's very clean. That's just a little something on the other side, but pretty clean. I mean, whatever that is, I call that clean. So for the NuWave oven, you can cook your sweet potato pie in about 45-50 minutes. The top went from a very light brown, keeping an eye on it, to a brown. You know, it went from a very light brown to brown. So I think you'll see the one that I'm looking at coming out of the oven. It's got about 3 more minutes. It's got that orange kind of color to it. This one, I never really saw it hitting that orange color. It just kind of went from light to dark. I think that's because of the heat source coming from the top. So in a few minutes, I'll show you the one coming out of the conventional oven. That one looks like it'll be about done as well. Okay, so that pie in the conventional oven had its 10 minutes at 425, then it had its 45 minutes at 350, so it had 55 minutes total. So I'll take this out and have a look. As you can see, it has that traditional orange color. I've got nothing coming out. Ooh. That's a little something there. I think I probably caught a piece when I pulled it out, but I think otherwise I think it's good. I think I just caught a piece pulling it out there. I'm testing other areas. There's some stuff in there. I'll give it another 10 like that. So it'll get that full 55 minutes. The 350, and I'll bring you back in a moment. Okay, so now that pie in the conventional oven has done an extra 10 minutes, so it did 10 minutes at 425, then it did another 55 minutes at 350, so it's done like an hour 5 minutes total. So just going to take it out and have another check. I'm thinking that's pretty clean. I'm going to go with that. So I'm just going to get this set up, staged side by side with the NuWave pie, and then we'll just have a look at them. Alright, so here are our 2 pies together. NuWave Oven Pie here. Conventional oven pie right there. So as I mentioned, your conventional oven pie has that more traditional orange type color, brownish orange. The NuWave Oven Pie, given that heat from the top, had a little more browning, but cooked faster. So next step is to put these in the refrigerator to cool, and then we'll do a taste test. So I'm going to let them cool, and after they cool, I'll bring them out and we'll do a plating and a taste test. So I'll bring you back in a bit. Alright, so I've given these pies time to cool down. As you remember, the NuWave pie, the conventional oven pie. So I'm going to get a nice slice of the NuWave Oven Pie. Feels nice and firm. So I'm going to get that out and plate it. I think it's kind of stuck down there with the crust, I think. Probably should have used a little non-stick spray on the bottom of that crust. Well, maybe not, but looks like that crust just didn't get very crisp down in there. Probably from that heat coming from the top of the pie. That crust didn't get very crisp underneath. That's an interesting thing there. Let me try the conventional oven pie here. Definitely a crisp crust on the bottom, from what I feel as I'm going through it. Lifts off just a little better than the NuWave pie, but still some, I guess because the mixture is kind of wet. That pie crust down bottom, it is crisper. I'm feeling a crisper feel as I'm pulling on this crust from the conventional oven. So you do get a crisper crust from the conventional oven than you do for the NuWave for this one. But I think the true answer to what's better for me personally is going to be in the taste test. So let me get the camera adjusted and we will do what really counts, which is the taste test. This is the NuWave pie. I just took kind of a small piece of it, and this is the conventional pie. So let me get the camera adjusted. We'll do some taste tests and see what tastes best to me. Alright, so taste testing these pies. I'm going to try the NuWave oven piece first. Now I will say that's a good piece of pie, but we're going to try the conventional oven and see who reigns supreme as far as taste. I kid you not, the NuWave oven piece tastes better to me. It definitely does. I'm going to do a second round just to be sure. I'm almost disappointed because I assumed that conventional would taste better just because it's out of the conventional oven. But you know, I'm happy that the NuWave won because the NuWave goes faster. Okay, now let me try conventional again. Now I'm going to say that the conventional oven pie is not a bad pie. Okay, it's not a bad pie, and it definitely has the look and texture that you would expect. The NuWave pie, it's got just a browner look, but I think maybe it did something to caramelize that sugar maybe a little better from that top cooking. It just gives it a better flavor overall. Both are good pies, but the NuWave just wins it out for me. So If you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up. You can leave a comment, maybe try it yourself, see which one you like better or something. But you can share the video with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and good eating.